On the road. Welcome everybody. Today is September 19th, 2020. September 19th, 2023. This is the Hannah City Village Council meeting. If everybody would please stand for the pledge and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you may be seated. Yeah, we have no guests tonight. The Community Wellness Center of the Elmwood, Illinois mayor had sent me notice about doing support for him. I guess they'd also contacted Brian about coming. So,
yeah, I told him if he wasn't going to be here tonight to let me know. I did not hear anything, so I assumed he was. So maybe it'll be the next meeting, but I'll put it down as a possibility.
Everybody should have a copy of our meeting minutes from September 5th, 2023. If you haven't reviewed those, please review those.
Well written as always.
I don't know about that.
You called me out to look at it specifically. Was there something that you wanted me to?
Yeah, you're parked.
Well, I looked at that. Yeah, it seems fine.
Was it okay?
Yeah.
I didn't want to come out a little strong there.
You gotta be intrigued now. You know what I mean? Science part.
On sanitary sewers.
Oh, yeah. They start finding residents.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. We accept the meeting minutes as submitted.
Motion by Sidak. A second? Second. Second by Pearson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nay. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
The only thing on the report that I wanted to point out is the WEX gas charge. I went ahead and paid that a couple days ago online because we were nearing our credit limit. But it is on the report for you guys to review and approve.
I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding bills.
Motion by Giovanni.
Second.
Sidak. Any further discussion? We'll roll call that. Miller?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Giovanni?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Motion carries.
No Brandon.
No Brandon tonight. So that brings us down to Miss Abby.
I have a couple things to discuss. First, real briefly, the solar zoning ordinance, like solar installations, that's in progress. That'll be done soon. Got a lot in the works lately for you guys. So yeah, still working on it, and I'll pass a draft on to Brian once I have the draft finished. Does anyone have any questions on the ordinance for solar installations currently?
I can just make a comment. I've got a meeting scheduled tentatively for October 2nd, which would be the Monday before our next board meeting, to review that and approve it at the planning commission so that I can bring it to the board the following night. So that's our schedule. Hopefully everybody will be able to make the planning meeting. We'll be able to get that done.
Yep, and notice was published and we have the affidavit of service for that. So that's all good to go for that hearing. Holy solar ordinance. Okay, next is the CO2 pipeline. So I was kind of discussing with Brian a little bit today before the meeting about what to do moving forward with this. There's a few different options we can do. We can I'll kind of lay out these options for you. So first we can, enter your appearance as a village into the case itself, and we would file a petition to intervene. And what that would do is it would allow the village to comment in briefs and oral arguments on the matters that are addressed in the proceedings regarding the CO2 pipeline. It will cost more money because it'll take more of our attorney's time into account. We'll have to attend hearings, we'll have to monitor the docket and everything. That is an option to give the village more of a voice in the proceedings. So I just wanted to mention it. And we had talked a little bit last time about public comments. The village could also comment, and this was kind of, I think, where things lied last time with potentially drafting some sort of letter to the ICC. And instead of sending it to them, through, the mail, it would be more of on the public comment board. But it could still be a letter. Like, that's kind of what everyone's been doing. I took a quick scan of all the public comments. It's quite a bit of them. And I did see at least one Hannah City resident comment on the board. So that was cool. I guess where to go now, what are you all wanting to do moving forward?
For me, I think at a minimum, we need to grab something for the ICC public comments, and then if you think it's okay, put something out to our residents and let them know that they can do so as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty easy and inexpensive, and
yes, definitely the more inexpensive route. I can draft something if you would like. So about the letter to the ICC, I kind of mentioned this to Brian earlier too. Having something that is as specific as possible, I think will have more of an effect on the ICC and the people involved in the proceedings. So if there are any specific concerns the board has that I can mention in the letter, please let me know. I know main issues include, safety concerns for the residents, and I've heard you had some farmer issues come up. I know it can potentially destroy their land by digging it up and all of that stuff. So I guess
I think the major thing, Abby, is the health and safety concerns for the residents. Even if it is west of town and not in town, there's always the concern is, the wind primarily 95% of the time blows from west to east. So anything that happens on that pipeline, if there were to be a leak, would affect the residents. So I think the biggest thing is the health and safety
okay.
for the village residents.
Okay, I will.
Abby, if I read right, I think they say the blast radius or the safe radius is 1 to 3 miles. Did you read that?
I read their application today, actually. It was like a 40-page document. And I looked at what safety procedures they had. I think you might be correct on that sort of distance, but I would have to double check. I don't recall exactly where I read it.
Well, in terms of specifics, whatever that is, in my view, we'd like it to be that distance away from the main population of town.
Right. Right. And that kind of brings me to my next question, is kind of what we would ask the ICC to do or to consider. So there's a bunch of options here. One, simply no pipeline at all, like don't approve this project. Two, we have, could you reconsider the location, as in, the distance from the village or something like that? Do you not want the pipeline to go through the village? Do you want assurances of accountability on, behalf of the company? Just kind of giving them some sort of direction as to what the village is looking for specifically, I think would help a lot with them considering what you have to say.
I think our number one priority would be, A, no pipeline west of town. 2, you know, to make sure that it is outside of those limits, you know, that three mile, outside that 3 mile limit. Just to ensure the safety of the residents.
It's never not going to be 3 miles from a house, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Possible.
No, but
I
the
think-
majority of the homes, I guess.
I know. If it's even a scare, it's just weird to me that
I'm
it's
like-
okay to do that.
No.
My recommendation would be to talk to somebody bigger. You get a hold of somebody. I mean, Pekin's a big candidate here. It's going through, I think, a nice part of Pekin that's going to affect a lot of residents. I mean, very close to their houses. So I wonder what they're doing and how can we help the bigger communities around us that they're actually going to listen to.
Have you seen anything like that, Abby?
And I will say that the city of Peoria, Tazewell County, both of those entities have filed their petition to intervene. So they've entered their appearance into the case itself and are willing to argue their issues at the ICC level. So there are bigger municipalities that are getting involved. I haven't seen anything from Peoria County yet. That would be a really big one, and I'm surprised they haven't done anything yet, considering it's going right through the county. So yeah, those are the only two. Yeah, those are the only two municipalities that I've seen is Tazewell County and City of Peoria.
Well, that's good news then.
Yeah, that kind of makes it seem to me like it might be redundant and cost effective, not very cost effective for us to do what Peoria's already done.
And that could be something to look into, as well as going to maybe a Peoria County meeting and expressing, you know, the village's views on it, maybe get them to file a petition to intervene, or at least, you know, offer up some, you know, this is our concern.
Who's our representative? Or state representative?
No, our Peoria County.
I can find out.
Is it Rosenbaum still or no?
Used to be one of the Hardings, I thought, but I don't think anymore.
Paul has he holds a chair still. I don't know the title of it exactly. It's the same thing he's always been.
Paul Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
I'll make a note to follow. I can follow up, find out.
I can reach out to Travis Weaver too and see what's going on there.
That'd be great. How do you guys feel about us drafting something to at least put on the ICC board and putting then something out to the residents to tell them they can do the same?
Sounds good.
Tell them that what our stance is on it as far as the residents go and what they can.
And some info on it because they got to be asking questions now because the signs are already up.
So maybe that's what we do is we draft what we're going to put out and we put that out to our residents and then say, you can weigh in and here's the instructions on how to do that. And then specifically we're saying our first option is no pipeline. And then if there is a pipeline, I think there's, in my mind, there's two things. One is the distance. And then the second is to make sure they take care of the properties that it's going through.
How do we know what's going on?
Hold on a second.
I did ask, David Tuttle was going to a meeting, fire department, on this, and he was going to try to get us see if they would give us the direct path of where it's going to go. Because all we know is generalities at this point.
Right, that's what, I'm like, how do we know, like, is there a certain time we really need to put the pressure on them? What is there, like the state or whoever's, when are they having meetings and how do we know what's going on and when? Because they'll try to slide that stuff through without, if they can.
Well, that's the ICC. When they
So
have
let's
their-
hold on to this. I know it's really hard for Abby to hear any of our comments during that whistle. So
Abby, they were asking, did you come across anything more specific on the timeline?
I don't think anything's like dead set yet as far as a final hearing. It's still in the preliminary stages. But they definitely want it approved by 2024. So yeah, I can look.
Summer of 2024, because if I understand right, something changes. Some laws or parameters change in 2025.
Well, so basically Illinois law states that the federal law and regulations is what controls here. So I do believe there are federal regulations in the works, and those very well could be effective January 1st, 2024. Let's see here.
While she's looking, how do you feel about us spending the money to enter into the, I guess?
I don't think it's necessary, especially if Peoria County's going to wind up doing it.
Yeah, we can check on Peoria County. Peoria cities are,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna do anything.
Well, and Tazewell and all of them. I mean, if they shut that down, we're not going to continue. So
Yeah, I'd say throw our support in with the county.
how we can help them, we're obviously not big enough to go full blown lawsuit
The
here.
more people to lean on Peoria County, the better.
Sounds like you might not have an option though. I mean, if the Commerce Commission says okay, we just got to get the hell out of the way, right?
Find something you like about it.
Eminent domain, is that all they do? And do whatever they want.
They have been pretty lenient lately.
So right now, I think the action items we have, Abby, is you and I can draft our position as the city. We'll publish that with instructions on how people in the town can do weigh in as well. I think Jeff's going to check with Travis Weaver to see what he knows. The mayor and I will look into the Peoria County rep and get in contact with them to see what they're going to do.
Okay. I found the
Ma-
notice of continuance and the schedule for the ICC. So it looks like briefs, which is kind of everyone's position on the matter that have entered their appearance, are going to be in the beginning of 2024. So this says February. There'll be orders in March. And yeah, that's what it looks like. Proposed orders in March. So that's what's scheduled for now that I think is most relevant.
Okay.
I think there might have been one other thing.
Yeah, so our county board is Matthew Windish, is what GIS is telling us. County Board District 16. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think talking with them or finding some sort of communication with the county is a good idea, just to see kind of where their mind's at. But yeah, and then, you know, you always have your state representatives and your federal representatives that you can call and express views. But they're less likely to be gotten a hold of, so. Okay. Yep. I will work on a draft and instructions and everything on how the town can weigh in and everything. So we can get that started. Does anyone have any other questions about the pipeline? In general, I'm doing a lot of research on it right now, not just for Hannah City, but in general, out of my own curiosity. So I've been learning quite a bit of this.
Thank you, Abby.
Yep.
The other thing you might have been thinking about is we're working on a possible pre-annexation that we might review at the upcoming meeting. It's related to the Herman fishery. So we're working through some issues there.
Okay. Anything else, Abby?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Brian?
So you've got the financial deck in front of you. If you look at August core funds, we had income of 123.13, expenses of 94.930, both just a little bit better than budget, and a positive variance for the month of 25,383. Just as anecdotally, moving forward, this month will be the first month we put the additional $5,000 away for the water tower. So what we want is that number 25,383 every month. That the income over expenses, we want that to average $21,500 or better, because if it does, that means our income was enough over our expenses to cover the money that we're moving over to the the cash for the savings for capital. And it's really an average, because it's not going to work out perfect, because I think I did the math. Year to date, we're already 40,000+ that number would be, but it's because the property taxes hit, the big property taxes hit earlier in the year. So we'll have months from now till the end of the year where we may not meet that number, but an average for the year is our goal, so that we can make sure we've got that cash for the capital covered. If you look at the details then, general was 17,000 to the positive, water was 8,500 to the positive, sewer was 1,600 negative, but we did have some capital expenses in there, which means it came out of the P&L. The expenses came out, but we moved cash from capital back over to cover that. So that's really not a true reading. I think there's about $12,000 in there, at least on the year-to-date side. I think it was 8,500 for the month. Garbage were about 1,000 to 1,100 to the good. If you look at MFT, income, no expenses, although we did process the Porter Brothers expenses this month, so that should hit next month for the street program. TIF, again, all income, no expenses. BDD, the income was actually better than budget this month. Sales tax was a little bit better than it has been historically. I think it was even a little bit better than budget. The expenses are the grant reimbursements, but we did still have a negative month, but that should all balance out towards the end of the year. The monthly summary then, this is what I put in here for Denise to just put into the minutes because it's the easiest. So we're positive around 25K. Our general was plus 17. Our total income was pretty much on budget. Sales tax was plus 2,500 for the month, so I think that's the first month sales tax was better. And expenses were $10,000 below. On water, we were good $8,500. Sales was plus $6,500. Expenses were pretty much on budget, and our water purchases were $3,000 higher than what we budgeted, but that's offset by the income. Sewer, we were negative $1,600. Income was plus $1,000, but we did have for the month $8,500 worth of capital expenses that we moved cash from. That was the lift station, I believe. So we moved cash from savings back in to cover that capital expense, and garbage was $1,000 to the good. We also have the sewer lining. Is that being processed this month?
Already processed.
So, and that's what, $78,000. Yeah, and then we've got one to vote on tonight because we had a little additional expense. Then the monthly summary, MFT was positive. Porter Brothers invoice coming this month. TIF was positive. Income was a little bit better than what we budgeted. BDD was negative 2K. I explained that, but it was good that the sales tax was higher. Then if you look at year-to-date, our actual income year-to-date was $581,731. Our actual expenses are $397,750. Thought it was interesting that our expenses are only $412 off. It's pretty close. Although $12,000 in there is capital expense, so that is really $12,000 less in terms of actual operational expenses. So year-to-date, we're good, $183,981. That's what I divided by I think it's the fourth month, to come up with a number that was higher than 21.5. If you look at year-to-date core funds details, so general, we're up $112,397. Water, we're up almost $40,000, $38,000. Sewer, that $67,808 would be less $12,000 for the capital expenses, so that number would actually be a little bit higher. And garbage, we're up $4,600 year to date. So everything's tracking pretty well. Let's see, MFT year to date, we're $13,000 to the good, but remember the Porter Brothers big invoice is coming. TIF, we're 37,000 to the good, but remember we got to give 80% of the residential TIF dollars back later this year, so that's not as good as it looks. BDD, we're actually negative.
80% or 80% of unspent?
No, it's 80% of the residential income, tax income.
I don't know why they did that.
Well, it's because the school district,
Fire
the fire
district.
department were giving up quite a bit of tax revenue, so.
The increment.
Well, I know. I just don't understand why they took it if they were just getting.
No. I don't know. I don't know if you can, if you
allowed-
can do it in increments or
It
if you have
allows
to.
us to freeze those rates, is what happens. It allows us to freeze those rates. So anybody who builds something new, there's a bigger gap. So then that's more tax dollars.
Yeah, in other words, you're freezing it at that level rather than letting it go up 20% every year. This is the BDD, this will ultimately catch up. The income election will catch up to the expenses. I think we're pretty close to, I thought I'd have it one tonight, but I don't think we got all the paperwork. We're only 3 away, I think, from closing out all those. So the year-to-date summary, positive 184 for the year. General's plus 112. Income's 26 better than budget. Expenses are 5,000 below budget. Water is 38,000 to the good. Income is 26 better than budget. Expenses are 2K below budget. Sewer, we're about 30,000 to the good. Income is 5K better. Expenses is $8,000 worse. But keep in mind that 12,000 of that was capital, so it would actually be 4,000 to the good on the expense side. And garbage is plus 5, and that's all driven by the income. The expenses are pretty well spot on. MFT positive, TIP positive. I think I covered all that. BDD negative, but that'll all catch back up. And then if you look at cash and checking, we've got 851,853. Savings 1,097,385. So the total amount of cash is 1.9. Cash values all went up across the board. What did we? Did you report the interest last month? At the last meeting, we did an interest on
I think so.
savings.
I think it was the beginning.
It's like $5,000 this month. Yeah. And then on the cash sheet, there's really not a whole lot to talk about there. The one thing I would say is down this left-hand side, if you look at the savings accounts, in parentheses, that's the amount of money we put in every month into that savings account. So the tower is at $2,500 this month, but next month that number will be $7,500 because we increased it by 5,000. All in all, I feel pretty good about where we're at.
Anything else, Brian?
Nope.
Committee reports. Finance, Mr. Chervali.
I have nothing today.
Hey, was there anything you're planning to do?
Just that we're working on a pre-annexation document. If everything comes together, it'll be reviewed at the planning meeting on the 2nd and come here on the 3rd. That's just the plot. I don't know what it was for.
Yeah, it was for West Line, Fisher Road. Just about a survey is the only thing we did. It looks like they broke one track up into 3 different things. Sanitary sewer, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah, so you've got in your pack there, the sewer lining is done, and we've got the invoice for it here. We already paid for the major part of it, which was the 74,000 and the 4,000 there. There's an additional $1,500 for repair that we'll need to approve. It's already done. We just have to pay for it now. What did we say now?
Well, what?
Oh, they come and take it back.
No.
So basically what happened is we found a place where the line actually had to be dug up and repaired. And so that was an additional $1,500 over the actual lining.
They went in and did the 2 transition pieces on each end of that line.
Correct.
So I'll make a motion to approve the $1,500 to Air Construction.
Second.
No.
Mr. Sun.
Do we sound that much alike?
Yeah,
Always
you
get
do.
mixed up.
Yes, you do.
I don't hear
Because I
it.
swear to God.
And I had to
myself.
look up, I was like, I could have sworn.
Start weird vocab.
So a motion
Well, I don't think you
Pearson.
sound like me because you never hear your own voice the same.
Motion by Pearson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion on this? Everybody knows what we're voting on. We'll roll call it. Pearson,
Yes.
Chiaravali,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Miller.
Yep.
Motion carries.
That is all for sanitary sewer.
Water, Mr. Pearson.
Got some numbers for you.
Right, we like numbers.
Yeah. 2 meetings in a row.
Did we get the gallons sold?
It's on this one. I don't know if I
Okay.
still have the one from the last time.
No, it's fine. I was wondering if,
It's not needed, but it's nice to have.
okay.
All right, ready?
Yep.
26 total shutoffs for a total of $7,036.59.
Say that again.
$7,036.59. Zero level pay. 5 foreclosure for a total of $535.61. An approximate gallon sold 2,204,990. And that is all for water.
That was easy. Buildings and grounds, do we have anything? Nothing. Streets and alleys, looks like we're waiting on some.
Now, we've got some quotes we need to, for some projects we need to approve. So the latest round of storms damaged a couple of the trees. I have to admit, I find this very annoying. The last 2 years, we've spent almost no money on removing trees that are in the right of way or on our property or anything. So I budgeted very little money for it. This is our second and third tree this year that we have to pay to have removed. So I'm going to be way off on what I budgeted for these expenses. But we've got 2 quotes. One from Buzzkirk, the trees, one's at 3rd Street in Hannah, and the other one's at 401 Runkle. Roger says they're both needing to be cared for so that they don't fall and cause additional damage on people's property. If you add up the Buzzkirk quote, it comes in at $42.75. I apologize, our copier's not working that well right now, but we got a cut above on the other side, and their quote is $4,800. So I guess staff's recommendation would be to go with the Buzzkirk quote. One, because they're local, but more importantly, they're also less expensive.
I think they're brothers.
They are.
Is Perry running that still?
Yeah. He owns it.
Oh, the brothers run each of these
That-
companies?
Well, Perry owns a cut above.
And Joe
I
owns.
didn't know
That
that.
sounds like a wreck.
Well, it was a secret for years.
I've never heard
That
of that
sounds like
kind
a
of.
conspiracy.
Paperwork.
I bet they have all kinds of fun being the only 2 bidders everywhere. We used to do it with Prairie Farms and Better Beverage. We delivered Prairie Farms' milk for them, and they wanted us to do it, but their guy he'd outbid us. It was just a mess. And then they'd have to pay. It was government, man.
Giddy up.
So
Somebody needs to know.
I'll make a motion. We go with the Buzzkirk quote.
Which buster?
for the amount, we need to state the
Buzzkirk
amount.
tree.
What was it called?
$42.75.
For $42.75. American.
Have a motion by Sidak.
I'm not sure we can vote on it since it's not on the agenda as a vote.
Sure.
Or at least not on the agenda I have. Is it on a new one?
Says
Approval
vote.
quotes, attached vote.
Okay, I don't see it on mine then. Maybe I have an old draft.
It's on the one we put out and we published.
Okay. Yeah, I just grabbed it from an email I got. So
Are you good?
as long as it's on there, like we're good.
All right. Thank you.
Have a motion by Sidak for Buzzkirk from $42.75. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pearson. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Chair Raleigh,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Anything else? No, that should be it under streets and alleys. CDC, Mr. Sidak.
Okay, we were supposed to have a residential reimbursement tonight, but we do not have that.
She didn't get all the paperwork in.
No
So
paperwork. They're dilly dallying. I don't know what to do.
I think she ended up paying portion of it with the credit card, and she's not gonna pay the credit card off till the end of the month, which means we won't have the credit card receipt for the payment until beginning of October. So.
And we are planning our next CEDC meeting on the 30th of October. But yeah, nice and spooky. We'll have a little costume party if anyone wants to come.
Believe it or not, we've revised the program for next year, not the dollar amounts or anything, but just some of the minor things that the team wanted to have different. So we have to update the ordinance. So we're already getting ready for next year's programs, which will launch in January.
Yeah, the last round that we did was did the Disciples on 3rd Street, did Hannah City Sportsman's Club, and the Tap. And if anybody hasn't had a chance to go in the Tap, it
looks nice in there, doesn't it?
I mean, it is night and day compared to what it was. I think I'd only been in there like twice before, and it was just one of those, do I want to be in here? But it wasn't bad. But
Your kind of place.
yeah, my kind of place.
I hung
My
out
kind
there all
of
the
place.
time. I hung out there all the time.
Well, that explains a lot.
Well, me and Cindy were BFFs.
That's nice. She's done a nice job.
End of report.
Administration, Mr. Miller.
You want me to cover it?
Yeah.
So we got the renewal for the medical portion of our benefits. We will also get the dental and vision from Humana later, probably in the next month, October timeframe. So this is the renewal at a glance. Basically, just to remind everybody, what we do is we offer medical insurance, this program, to the staff at a 50-50 split. So the staff pay 50% and then the village pays 50%, unless it's negotiated up front when you're hired in, which is the case with Cassandra. We matched what she was getting at Germantown. So at this point, she and I are the only two people that take advantage of the program. Everybody else either has a spouse or some other form of getting it. But if you take the program and you add everything up, the cost went up $182.68 year over year. So it went from $1,789.43 a month to $1,972.11 per month. So we'd be looking to get approval for that so that we can communicate it back to the.
So we just voting on to renew it.
Yeah, the plan did not change at all. So and we're not recommending any changes to the plan.
Looks like the out-of-pocket max in network went up a little bit.
That's the only change there.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we renew our current insurance plan
At the rate of
at the rate of $1,972.11 per month.
I have a motion by Sidak. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chair Volley. Any further discussion? Roll call. Sidak?
Yes.
Miller?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Chair Volley?
Yes.
Motion carries.
If you remember last year, it actually went down a little bit.
Yeah. So our state senator, which is of course our House representative is Travis Weaver. Our state senator is Neil Anderson. I've never heard of him. Our congressional is Eric Sorensen, and our county board is Matthew Windish.
So I think if you take Travis, if you take Sorensen, I can take Windish. I know the Windish family, so.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Did you have any incident reports?
I'm still waiting on them to get back to me about the grant funds. Sorensen's office. So there is a congressional grant every year
where they take projects from communities that serve the districts, and they can bid on these. I know Washington has had one, Eureka's had one, I believe Germantown had one a while back. It can be for numerous things. So one of the things I was thinking is, with us having a water tower expense possibly coming up, is seeing what type of grant funding we could get for something like that. Of course, they take it, they get multiple entries throughout the state or from their districts. And then, they have to take those to the Senate. So.
I didn't get incident reports.
Incident reports? Oh, sorry. Let's skip.
From September 3rd to September 9th, there was 4 calls. Business house check, 1 burglary, family trouble, and fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In front of Gills.
Well, it's not
Somewhere around there.
I'll take the fireworks thing offline. So after the meeting. So, does anybody have anything else to come before the board?
I would just make a comment that the Park District's having the Hannah City Bash this weekend on the 23rd. I think it starts at 11 a.m. and runs till 10 p.m. at the park right over there. I think they're having 4 or 5 different bands and all kinds of stuff. So it'd be nice. If I'm going to plan on going over for a little while, but if any of you have time, go over and just say hi. Support them.
Yeah, I would love to support them, and Brian, I guess, can be my representative for that day. I will be out of town at a marching band competition with my daughter, so as planned right now.
I'll be there. You gonna be there? I have drill this weekend. Come on.
Slacker.
I'll be there to see
Tell the
the
damn Army.
nighttime program.
You know what? I'll be there with the kids during the day.
Senior
and then
NCOs to
get
go
rid
do
of that.
something.
Yeah, I'm busy.
What's the nighttime one?
Some 70, 80. That's
Band.
what I heard.
I thought it
Apparently
was
they've got
60s,
some
50s, 60s.
Oh, 50s, 60s. There might be
Up
all.
and
I don't know.
coming country guy that
I'm
just
with you.
recorded some stuff in Nashville. It's supposed to be pretty good.
We'll figure. No one really
Yeah,
knows
they
that's kind of on the
really,
ground.
they lined up
Seems
quite
like
a bit
combs.
of music for the whole day.
So if nobody has anything else to come before the board, meeting adjourned. Thank you, Abby.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Abby.